Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Mary Claire Haver and I'm a board certified OB-GYN physician. I'm also the creator and founder of the Galveston Diet, and today I'm here to talk to you about why intermittent fasting is such a critical part of the Galveston Diet. When I set out to create the Galveston Diet, it was in response to my own weight gain and menopause. I had taken care of patients for 20 years, probably 16, 17 at that point. And for years, as my patients were aging, had heard time and time again, I don't know what's happening. I'm not doing anything different. All of a sudden, like a light switch went off. I am gaining weight and I cannot figure out why. And I would take a deep breath because I heard it time and time and time again. And I would pat them on the knee and tell them what I had been taught to tell them. Work out more and eat less, and the weight will come off. And they would look at me and say, I am working out and I am eating healthy, and I do not understand why it's not working. I have this, all of a sudden, an inner tube around my midsection. They would grab their belly fat and shake it and say, what is this? And I would just say, it's just life. Our bodies are changing. You're just going to have to deal. And I had to move on to the next pap smear and well woman exam, and I just heard it time and time again. I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Like this whole work out more, eat less thing's not working. But it really was not until it happened to me, until I ended up, after my brother passed away, 20 pounds overweight through grief and depression, and said, okay, grief is better, time to get my life back. I don't want this extra weight. And it was all in my midsection. I'm going to do all the things I've told my patients to do. I started going to the gym and working out like a crazy person. And I was doubling down at the gym. I had an app where I was tracking calories. I was doing all the things, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working. I was banging my head against the wall. I was going a little bit crazy and weighing myself every day. I'd get up in the bathroom to empty my bladder and I would weigh myself. I was obsessed. So finally, my husband gave me the wake-up call, and he works overseas, and so he was going on a month-long trip. And as he was going to get on the plane, I said, when you get back, you're going to have the wife you deserve. And he said, I have the wife I deserve. Whatever's happening to your body, you need to figure this out. But you're obsessed, and it's upsetting you, and it's interfering in our relationship. And that was kind of a really big wake-up call to me, that I had allowed that scale, I had allowed my weight, I had allowed this frustration of working as hard as I could, starving myself and tripling down at the gym, and nothing was working. So finally a light bulb went off. I was like, okay, I am a scientist. I can figure this out. And I talked to the nutrition department. I started reading everything I could get my hands on it. Long story short, months of research. Realized a few things. One, no one's really doing studies for weight gain at our age. All the studies that are out there are anecdotal. And so I had to look at the weight loss data from 25-year-old male athletes and from the elderly and make some extrapolations in the middle. I looked at the fads. I looked at what the current diets were. I looked at everything and tried to find some kind of a common theme. What I found, at least in the medical data, was a recurring theme of inflammation. That markers of chronic inflammation go up in our bodies with age, and they go up especially as we go through the hormonal changes associated with menopause. It's like, okay, all right, what can I do about this? Is there a magical pill we need to take to lower the inflammation? What's going on? And it turns out it's almost all nutrition. And I thought, wait, this is too easy. Why don't people talk about this? Why don't they teach this in medical school? Why did I have to beat my head against the wall for months trying to figure this out? I don't know the answer to that. I know it's getting better. I know people are trying, physicians are trying to educate themselves. But when I was choosing components of what principles I wanted to put into place for Galveston Diet, knowing that I had to fight inflammation through as natural processes. I did not want to add medication. I did not want to add a pill with possible side effects. I stumbled across Mark Matson's studies on intermittent fasting. Now, Dr. Matson works for the National Institutes of Health. He's not a wealthy man. He simply is one of the most brilliant scientists you will ever meet in your life, and he is absolutely devoted to intermittent fasting. His area of research was on neurodegenerative disease. So, that's a big word, neurodegenerative. Try to say that fast 10 times. Alzheimer's and dementia. And he was looking at nutrition and feeding as a way of treatment to improve symptoms. And what he found in the animal studies was that during a fasted state, the animals' symptoms improved greatly. Their cognition improved greatly. And they have tests that they can do. So it just seems so ridiculously simple, so easy. So he actually has devoted his life breaking down the biochemistry of it, like doing tests and studies to figure out why fasting improves these things. So long story short, intermittent fasting, whether it's done through the extreme fast of a 5-2, which is eat whatever you want in a 7-day period, for 5 days you eat what you want, for 2 days you have 500 calories, and that's it. Versus a daily fast, which is what I like, with the 16-8, where you fast for 16 hours in a row and then you eat in an 8-hour window, plus or minus. The decreasing inflammation, the improved cognition is better in both groups. The Galveston diet is about changing your habits. And when you do something on a daily basis, it becomes a habit. So that is why I like the 16-8. Also, you do tend to lose a little bit more weight when you actually practice fasting on a daily basis versus the 5-2. So I can't say enough about it. It's free. It's easy. It's simple, okay? It takes about a month to get through it. It takes about a month to work through the process. And in Galveston Diet, we guide you through it step by step by step. I mean, it's not a cold turkey thing. What I want to advise you, if you are considering intermittent fasting, do not jump in with 2 feet and try to go 16 hours without food if you're not doing it on a regular basis. Ease into it. And my goal in the Galveston Diet is to baby step you through the process where you're not having all the irritability, you're not having all the hunger, and that actually dissipates after a month. By a month into intermittent fasting, it is the most natural, normal, easy thing you've ever done in your life. And if you go here on the Galveston Diet page or in the Galveston Diet group and you read what people are saying about IF and how it is changing their lives, they're sleeping better. The bloating is dramatically improved. Their cognition is better. The brain fog is gone. I mean, there's nothing to it. So guess what's happening? Drug companies can't make any money. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't want you guys to think that. But drug companies they're here to make money, okay? They pretend they're here to help patients. They are to a certain, but at the end of the day, they're a corporation. Intermittent fasting takes money away from them because people are getting healthier with a practice that's free. That doesn't require them to go out and buy a prescription or buy a medication over the counter. So guess what? The benefits of intermittent fasting are astounding. Drug companies are now developing drugs to mimic the effects of intermittent fasting. Instead of telling a patient, start slow, start just increasing the time of fasting, the time restricted feeding, just slowly decrease that time that you eat into a smaller and smaller window until you reach the desired goal. And I'll talk to you in a minute about the goals and why we pick those numbers. Go ahead and take this pill that has side effects that might affect your liver, that will mimic the effects of something that is free and easy and could change the course of your life forever. So don't believe me. Go to the New England Journal of Medicine. Google Mark Matson, NEJM. Find the article on intermittent fasting from NEJM, New England Journal of Medicine. It will blow your mind. Blow your mind. That is why I have incorporated intermittent fasting as the first component of the Galveston Diet. The second component is anti-inflammatory nutrition. Filling our bodies, taking the time to educate you step by step by step on the things that we can put in our bodies that are anti-inflammatory, that are naturally found anti-inflammatory, and why and how. and really doing a deep dive into things that cause inflammation and why and how, so that when you're not with me, I'm not holding your hand while you're standing there in front of the refrigerator. You hear my voice. You read the words. It's all, you understand the science. That is my gift as an educator, is to take complicated stuff and break it down in layman's terms so that most people can understand it. And the final component of the Galveston diet is fuel refocusing, strategically breaking our addiction to carbohydrates, to simple carbohydrates and added sugars. Those three things, intermittent fasting, anti-inflammatory nutrition, and fuel refocusing, work synergistically together to get you out of this swirling vortex of inflammation that is increasing so much at our age, and move you into an anti-inflammatory state where everything works better, and all those things you used to do to lose weight start working again. So, and what I promised I would tell you, why do we do a 16A? What's the magic? Okay, it takes about 12 hours for our bodies to burn through the carbohydrates, the glucose from our last meal, and what is stored in the liver in the form of glycogen. Okay, it takes around 12 hours for most people. At that 12-hour mark, your body switches. It's a natural, normal process. It's not harmful. There's nothing wrong with it. Your body switches to breaking down the fat it has stored just for this, breaks down fat, starts burning fat, breaks fat down into fatty acids. The fatty acids are then used as fuel. A byproduct of that is called ketones, okay? So when your body flips to that, a lot of things start happening on a biochemical basis. A lot of things start happening in the nucleus of the cell. We see genetic changes in our DNA. Cells become more resilient to disease. They become more resilient to acute infection. They decrease the inflammatory state simply from fasting. Why? Because it makes sense on an evolutionary basis. Us having access to food 24 hours a day is not normal. It's not natural. It was not meant to be. We as evolutionary beings were not meant to be exposed to food 24/7. We had to wait for meals. We had to wait for protein sources. We had to forage, hunt, and gather to eat. Our body had to have processes in place so that we did not starve to death in those times that we didn't have food. Okay? When we feed ourselves around the clock, our body becomes lazy. It doesn't have to be on point. It doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to. And so the cells start backing up into this feast or famine thing. Okay? And it goes into the feast. Fasting is a natural, normal process. And guys, if you haven't tried it, I'm going to change your life. Just this first component will kick your metabolism into gear. You are not going to believe it. Go in this page and go through and look at the post and read the people's comments on fasting. It will blow your mind. So if you haven't considered the Galveston diet, and it works for everybody. You don't have to be a middle-aged woman for it to work. It works for my husband when he does it. It works for my kids. My kids are 16 and 19. It is a normal, healthy, beautiful way to eat. And not only will you lose weight, think of weight loss as a side effect. The non-scale benefits of decreasing your blood pressure, decreasing your risk of stroke, decreasing your risk of heart disease, all from good food choices that you understand. Not because Mary Claire said so, Dr. Haver, because you understand the science and you know that this is a good choice and this is what you want to put in your body to fuel it so that you can live your life as healthy as possible. And guess what? You're going to sleep better. You're going to think better. You're going to be more, your brain is going to work better. When people tell me that their stress levels go down, they're taking out more time for themselves, it's almost like they feel like they've got their lives back just from some simple nutritional changes. That's everything to me. All right, guys, 171 of you are watching. I'm on a roll. Thank you, Brandy. Perfectly put. All right, I'm looking for questions. We're at the end now. Many women report hair loss. Not in the Galveston diet, they don't. At least I have not heard one report of hair loss yet. Not one. Your ability to share science and be a great educator is what got me hooked. Oh, thank you. You know, it's my gift. It is my jam. It is something I was born with. I was always able to tell the story. I've always been able to share. I was always a tutor in school. I tutored all the way through college, all the way through medical school. That's how I supported myself in med school, is through tutoring. So, but I wish I could, it's just natural to me, and I love doing it. And so if it makes you healthier and that you live a longer, better, happy life, it's everything to me. Okay, guys, let's see. It's amazing once you get down, you feel great. I've seen doctors, now prescription. You know, I don't want to knock the medical profession. I'm a physician. I'm an awesome surgeon. I'm really good at pap smears. My pap smears are actually magical. Don't laugh. And I can use the smallest speculum, just saying. And it's not our fault. You know, we just weren't taught. It just was not a priority. Nutrition wasn't recognized as much as a medical thing, other than outside of people with extreme medical conditions who needed, like, you know, TPN or something. But just, we were never taught how to teach patients basic nutrition. I had to go back to school to learn that. So, and that's fine. I'm happy to have done it. And it is changing. We are seeing more things added in the curriculum. The Tulane University, where I got my culinary medicine certification, requires their medical students to take the course as well. So we are seeing some changes. It is definitely getting better and much better for the future. Kim, how do you get started? I will put a link to the Galveston diet. You can check it out. There's a flash sale today, $10 off the cost of the Galveston diet. I will, yes, sale today. The code is, hang on. If you go to www.galvestondiet.com and go to enroll now, I just put a code in today for a flash sale, and let me pull up coupons here. Hang on one second. And the coupon of the day is SAVE10, all caps, SAVE10, SAVE10, and you will save $10 off the cost of enrollment. Okay, I will jump off now. Everybody have a fabulous day, and feel free, please share this with as many people as possible. Share the health so that everybody can get healthy. All right, everybody, take care.